Hello, this is Rocky Marciano. When I was heavyweight champion of the world, they called me the Brockton Blockbuster. You find out why.
Welcome to the Rocky Marciano Archives, a channel dedicated to the life and career of the immortal champion. The following is a reading from Redemption, The Life of Rocky Marciano, Volume 1, 1923 through 1949, by archivist and researcher John Cameron. This chapter, titled The Offer, looks at Marciano's initial offer to be taken under the wing of big-time New York promoter Al Weill, an offer that Marciano was not originally enamored by. I had never been anything more than an ordinary laborer. I guess I realized that the fight game was my last chance to better myself. Rocky Marciano. Marciano and Colombo accompanied Al Weill back to his office, where the big-time promoter was willing to take Goldman's advice and give Rocky a break of sorts. Thus he put forward his proposal in as brief and succinct a way as possible. He would manage the fighter, at least unofficially at first. At this stage, there was to be no formal contract offered, no free ride into the big time. Weill needed to see more proof that this fighter from Brockton had something before he would commit himself any further. "I want you to stick around here," he told Rocky. "Charlie will train you. You'll do everything that Charlie says, then we'll get you a couple of 4-rounders. The offer was a promising one, yet Rocky showed a stubborn side and was unwilling at this stage to leave everything he knew behind. Or perhaps it was the almost belligerent, some would say, suicidal streak that ran through Rocky, a streak that convinced him of his potential. He had shown this side of his character when in the amateurs where he knew he couldn't, or at least shouldn't, lose. And it was this belief that followed him and served him well, albeit controlled, in the professional ranks. It followed him into retirement also, when he once more felt untouchable. Eventually, this streak that had served him so well would lead to his decline. "I don't want to stay here, Al," came Rocky's alleged reply. "I want to go home for a couple of months. I want to get in top condition, do some road work practice, and in a couple of months I'll be ready." Weill was taken aback, yet he had no ties to this kid, as Al himself recalled with an air of destiny over his find. "I sent him up to Manny Almeida. A friend of mine promotes in Providence, which is near where he was in Brockton. But Brockton is too small to have fights. And I asked Manny to put him in with the same kind he was, but no setups. Because you got a guy knocking over setups, you don't know what you got." Goldman, for his part, was still keen to work with the rough-hewn fighter whenever he was able to get into town, for he had seen the spark and was determined to bring it to life. All was not wine and roses, however, as Rocky would attest after his career had come to a close. He, Weill, wanted me to get rid of my pal, Ali Colombo. Ali grew up next door to me and encouraged me and worked with me. I couldn't have managed without him, but Weill didn't want him around. Ali and me were both mad when we left. Yet not mad enough to turn away a $20 bill from Weill, who called them back from the elevator as they were leaving. The pair quickly converted most of the currency into a meal at a nearby restaurant. It was here that fate almost intervened, which, if she had had her way, would undoubtedly have cost Rocky Marciano the heavyweight championship of the world. "While we were eating dinner," reflected Marciano in some detail, "in walks a guy from Boston who we knew from the amateurs, a guy named Jackie Martin. He was a fight manager and trainer, and his big claim to fame at that time was Pete Fuller, son of a millionaire ex-governor of Massachusetts. Pete Fuller was a good amateur fighter, and this guy Martin trained and managed him. Martin asked me what we were doing in town, and we told him, and he asked us if we signed anything. We said no, and he says, 'Look, how much do you guys want to sign with me?' Colombo mentioned the sum of $1,000, to which Martin announced that he had a call to make. "I went out to call Fuller," declared Martin when broached on the subject. "But I got no reply. I went back to the cafe and told The Rock that I would phone him the next day. His buddy said they'd be back in Brockton, so we left it at that. I didn't speak to him again until he was champion of the world. If only Pete would have just been in, I would have got Rocky Marciano for a measly $1,000. Later, Pete Fuller would confess that he had in fact indeed been in that day and had taken the call, but I turned the offer down point blank. I was still fighting then, and I thought, why would I turn over good money for someone I believed I could beat myself? Rocky and Allie were oblivious to this fact at the time. Thus, they used the remaining money from Weill to catch a bus home. There, they began to focus on getting the fighter into shape whilst awaiting the call from Martin. We started a program of our own in Brockton, Allie and me, mused Marciano. 7 days a week, we woke up at 7 and did road work. We took a different route every day so we wouldn't get tired of looking at the same scenery all the time. After a while, I guess everyone in Brockton saw us running along the street. Nevertheless, it soon began to dawn on the prospective professional that the call from Martin was never going to come. So, with reservation, the pair returned to New York and into the arms of Goldman. We hope you got something out of this. Remember, the first volume is available to own on Amazon. Just visit the link in description to pick up a copy for yourself and dig into the most detailed account of Rocky's early life ever put to paper. Until the next time, we will see you down the road.
If you like this content, then hit the subscribe button. To really support this channel, consider joining for just over $1 a month and unlock ad-free members-only content. Every member will play a key part in revealing the real Rocky.
I just enjoyed combat. I just enjoyed the sport that I had learned so well, and I had practiced so much that when the bell rang, I did a job. I could concentrate on the opponent.
It was a great, great career for me. I'm proud and very happy to talk about it. Sometimes I wonder why I was such an aggressive man in the ring.